At first glance, this Intro to Advertising class looks like any other lecture.
The students are usually pretty well engaged. We're having a great time. We're showing ads. We're talking about them. And I noticed in one of the semesters a fairly large group, maybe about 20 students, and their engagement level was just quite a bit different. They had that sort of bored look on their face.
That's when Professor J. Newell knew he had to make some changes.
In talking to them, looking at some of the papers, I realized all of these students were new at Iowa State, and they were Chinese speaking. They'd come from China, they'd come from Taiwan, they had come from Singapore.
Newell estimates anywhere from 10 to 40% of the students in his classes are Chinese speaking students.
They're coming in with a decent amount of English skills, but maybe not as much preparation as they would need to get through a whole lecture or certainly get through a conversation. So what we're really doing here is creating an environment where people feel safe to be talking in whatever language, bringing their ideas into the classroom.
So we started brainstorming.
Let's put the slides into multiple languages.
And with some help,
we started translating the slides. I worked with a graduate student who's from Taiwan. It takes her about 2 hours to translate an hour's worth of slides. And we're projecting these throughout each classroom.
Right now, the Chinese translated slides are shown only in Newell's Intro to Advertising class and one of his graduate classes, and the feedback has surprised him.
Doing the slides we found had a lot of benefits. The first was the Chinese students told us that it helped them learn English. They're typically carrying around dictionaries anyway to help them translate unfamiliar words. The second thing it did, and it was sort of unexpected, is that it sent a message to everyone in the class that students are welcome no matter where they come from. That will help them learn the best way that we can. The third, and this was a happy but unintended consequence, was the U.S. students, the ones from Iowa, thought that this stuff worked very well for them too because it modeled a way of dealing with advertising and communication in a multilingual world. They saw that they could handle looking at a language that they didn't speak, understand how it was being used. We didn't expect to see the domestic students doing more than thinking this was maybe okay, that their appreciation of this was quite high.
Translating the lectures to Chinese is just one way that Newell is helping students feel more at home.
In the class, I try to look and see where people are from and show television commercials either from their home states or their home countries. It's one nice little way of saying, you're welcome here, we're glad you're here, and we recognize that you're here.
But also,
we're here in the Midwest, and there's not as much ethnic diversity in the Midwest as in other places in the United States. So having that diversity is a good thing. We're starting to get more interaction between the Chinese students and the U.S. students. We're also starting to see more of the Chinese students bring their culture to us.
Something he says is necessary.
The core of a land-grant university like Iowa State is what can we bring to the world? And when we have students who are not only educated here, but learn our culture, learn our language, learn our ways of doing things, learn our principles, that's bringing a lot back out to the world.
And the Chinese students are thrilled with these changes.
I've had Chinese students come to me and say, thank you for showing us what you're talking about, and thank you for making us feel welcome.